What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno to you as well. How are you this fine day?
I'm glad that we're back to middle spring.
Yes.
It's no longer cold outside.
The freezing temperatures have broken finally. Yes. We did not get any ice, which was wonderful. Although, had it been just a little bit colder, if this rain that is here today had come like 2 days before,
we would have been fucked. We would have been so screwed.
Austin would cease to exist. Probably, honestly, the whole state of Texas, because that would have completely blown our power grid.
We probably, I mean, we wouldn't be recording today, because we wouldn't have power, and B, because I wouldn't be able to physically get here.
We would be fighting off woolly mammoths. The Ice Age had returned, if that was the case, because we got like 5 inches record rainfall today.
We'd have to eat Fender and Birdie.
Oh, no.
Birdie first, she's chunkier.
Why Birdie and Fender first? Why not mayo and mustard?
They're stringy and small. We'll get the most meat off the dogs. Even though I did name my children after food.
Yeah, see,
that's kind of asking for it.
Exactly. You just set them up for failure.
My poor boys.
Well, hopefully everybody has a plan in place to be able to survive the winter apocalypses if one is still heading that way. But for today, at least, we're going to be here talking about video games. You can listen to us do that on podcast services around the World Wide Web, as well as watch a video version of each episode over on our YouTube channel. Links for all that are in the description below. You can find us on social media at Facebook, Threads, and Instagram. You can also join our Discord server where we have a lot of great conversation. We're not here recording the show. And finally, if you'd like to support the show and help make it bigger and better, you can head over to patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, just like Ark, Super Saiyan Ace, Erica L, Elise F, Zach S, Susan M, James K, Michael B, Andrew M, Michael S, and Brandon W have done. Whereas for as little as $1 a month, you can support the show, and in return, we'll give you cool perks like getting the episodes early before their general Thursday release and access to a private channel on our Discord server, the Rogues Gallery. So go check out all that stuff along the way. But there's also a lot of great free ways that you can support the show, such as telling your friends, writing us a review, or subscribing wherever you listen to or watch the podcast. I'm getting the signal to hurry up. It's just like an award show, but we love each and every single one of our viewers, listeners, and patrons alike. Heart emoji.
And for that, we thank you. Yeah, you didn't finish it correctly.
Because you rushed me. You gave me the wrap up too soon.
I've been letting you slack off too much lately.
But no, we are always grateful to all of our viewers, listeners, and patrons alike. We love you very much. Thank you for all of your support. Before we get into the main topic of the day and our moment with Mogan, we do have to do an update on our soundtrack spotlight from last week. The hint was, if you'll recall, you've built a community of like-minded folk, stuck your middle finger to the gods, and maybe cleaned up some poop. Well, the game was correctly guessed by Brandon as Cult of the Lamb.
Huzzah! So, you've done
great
it.
Soundtrack from Riverboy. It was actually from the recently released Sins of the Flesh DLC, which I've actually been playing a little bit this last week.
So I didn't even know that a new DLC pack had dropped until you told me about it after we listened to the track.
Yeah.
And you showed me the trailer, and it really did make me be like, I gotta play Cult of the Lamb again.
I honestly, like, in my messing around with it, because I was like, I want to see what this stuff is about. I want to check out the new building, stuff like that. But it also really made me want to start a fresh one.
See, that's what I was thinking, because like I wouldn't even restart my old file, which I technically didn't even finish. I got really close, but I didn't finish it. But now I'm just like, well, I should just start over.
Yeah,
because it's such a short game in the first place.
I don't really love the setup of my cult layout right now.
I can
anyway,
do better.
I want to be better because now I have a better understanding of what I should be shooting for in my layout and stuff like that, and like, I don't know, just a better understanding of the game in general since I've been playing on it. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun messing around all that stuff. And in fact, one of the things that sold you on it that I didn't even know was going to be a thing is that there's now a mini rhythm game, a rhythm game mini game in it.
It was featured so little in the trailer, but as soon as we both saw it, we were like, whoa!
I was like, final bar lines in Cult of the Lamb.
So there's a rhythm game in it. You can get your villagers to have relations, which they can have eggs.
Yeah, they have babies.
God, okay.
They have the sex. And they have babies.
And they have babies.
And they can dance around the bonfire naked with little leaves covering the artworks are very cute.
Did the trailer specify what actually comes out of the eggs?
It should be just like because all of your cultist members are different species or like, forms. Some are more like bug-like, some are
So
alien-like.
I was thinking that,
I think it's like it morphs the two and
But
maybe
because
like
of that
creates new
reason,
versions.
I was thinking that like just eldritch horrors would come out of them, and
Potentially, yes.
they wouldn't become villagers.
Yeah.
That they would just like eat the people that made them. I
Yeah.
don't know. That was just what I was assuming would happen.
Possibly. I haven't actually got to that part. I haven't. I've unlocked the ability to build the mating tent,
The mating tent.
but I haven't had anyone put it to use yet.
Truly been glamping
Until you stayed in the mating tent. But no,
Okay.
anyway, so since Brandon correctly guessed the game for the soundtrack spotlight, he will be giving us, or he gave us a hint to be used at the end of the episode for this episode's soundtrack spotlight, so stick around for that. But now we can move along to our moment with Mogan to find out a little bit of news and what's coming out soon. But we all know what's coming out soon.
Yeah, we all know what's coming out soon. Yes. So just a couple of things coming out here at the end of the month. Only one of them matters. Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy is out for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC as of today, January 25th. Hidden Through Time 2, Myths and Magic is out for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Switch. Hitman, Blood Money, Reprisal is out for the Switch. This freaking Like a Dragon game. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is out for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, and PC on the 26th. Tekken 8. Man, I would hate to be the Like a Dragon game.
It's going to get smashed.
Those are two pretty different audiences, so who knows how much overlap they'll have. But Tekken 8 is out for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on Friday, January 26th. Very, very excited.
We'll be playing it tomorrow by the time this episode comes out.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time.
It's like Christmas Eve, but for Tekken.
It really is, because like I'm really excited. I know like a lot of people actually are very excited to play it on our Discord and stuff
They
like that.
really did a great job of spacing out the marketing campaign in such a way that like kept it feeling really fresh the whole time.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
the hype for me has really not ebbed and like died. It's just kind of been like a steady line the whole time. Like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Any
I know.
day
Just
now.
seeing all the new characters and the new fighters and stuff that are coming out, it's going to be good.
I'm excited
and I know
to play as Coffee Woman from Peru. I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but like she's really into coffee.
I don't even really know who I will try as my main at all, because I know
you've
like
never
a
been
very
a Tekken before.
I know a very base level knowledge of Tekken, so I'm gonna have to play around a little bit.
I don't think he's in the initial lineup, and pray to Jesus Christmas that he doesn't make it into the DLC. But if Bro Mogan ever tries to peer pressure you into playing a character called Gigas, just ignore him.
Say no.
He is trolling you. He is a troll character player. Don't listen.
What's wrong with Gigas?
Just so many things. Anyways, don't worry about it. I feel like you might honestly like Jin Kazama, kind of the main character. I mean, he's been a main character for a long time, but his fighting style...
I watched the catch-up video with Brian Cox.
yeah.
I'm informed. I did my homework.
I feel like you might like Jin. For my money, I'm probably going to stick with... I'm a big Nina fan, always have been, probably going to stick with Nina, and then try out all the new... Oh, Lily! Lily's my girl!
Who's the... I do know Panda. Maybe I'll just stick with Panda.
Oh, Panda's a great choice.
What about... who's the dude with the jaguar head? Is that...
That's King.
King? Okay, maybe I'll
It's
try
either King or Armor King. I can't remember from the trailer, but usually both are in every game, so it's either King or Armor King. Who knows? You can be both of them.
Nice.
Anyways, not that anybody cares, but Rugby 24 is out for PS5, Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on the 30th. Blaze Blue Entropy Effect. As far as I know, the Blaze Blue franchise is also a fighting game, so RIP and
Big
peace to
month
them.
for that
Yeah,
this
big
month.
month for them. For PC, January 31st. Song of Nunu, which just the way that that's phrased makes me think of Snoo Snoo from Futurama. Song of Nunu, a League of Legends story, is out on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, PS4, and Xbox One on the 31st, and that rounds out the month.
Very cool. There we have it.
Tekken,
Well, it is Tekken, right?
Tekken.
Like it's a big month for that. I'm very excited for it, which is kind of why I chose to do this review, since we're still waiting. It's the day before Tekken. We're getting hyped for it. And one of my big things, like I talked about in our end of the year episode, was that I was really wanting to try some different new genres of games and stuff to that effect. Fighting games being one of them, because I'm like, we're Tekken, and we're very excited about all that. But I have been playing Mortal Kombat 1, and so I was going to talk about it and give my review, because I actually just beat the story today. And so, take a little
nice.
bit of time on that one. I've been playing, well, because I was playing a lot of the online stuff, trying out the different tower features and stuff like that it has. But anyway, so I was going to get my thoughts on it. I don't really know because, like, this, I know our typical reviews when we do games that are in a series is we'll review ones that and compare, contrast to like previous entries in the
But
series.
you have only played the one.
This is the one I
Mortal
played,
Kombat game.
other than dabbling with it at arcades, or I actually do have, I think, 10X. I think I had Mortal Kombat X because I saw it on sale for like $5, and I just watched.
Oh, I think you do because I feel like we played it one time.
Yeah, because I feel like I watched
so underwhelmed.
I watched the new Mortal Kombat movie and was like, "Fuck yeah, I feel like playing some Mortal Kombat." And I saw it was on sale for like $5 because the movie had come out, and I was like, "Sure, why not?" And gave it a shot.
There was a new Mortal Kombat movie?
Well, not since the one that came out a couple years ago.
But that's what I mean. There was a new, because when I think of the Mortal Kombat movie, I think of the one from the 90s.
The 90s with
which
Christopher
was
Lambert.
Terrible.
I have not actually seen those, and I do want to see them just because I've heard how spectacularly bad they stand out. But still, I'll give it a shot. But no, this one came out in like 2020, 2021, maybe. I liked it.
Oh, was it good?
I thought it was pretty solid. Again, not having much to back it up on, but I thought it was still a pretty good story. Had a Haruyuki Sanada in it.
Oh, I do love him.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you should have led with that.
Oh, sorry, he's Scorpion.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
In the this is very like a slight tangent, but you've seen the Street Fighter movie from 1994/5?
No.
Oh my
I am
God.
woefully behind on that.
All you need to know about that movie
I did just watch
it's-
Bloodsport in that, not too long ago.
I don't know what Bloodsport is.
Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It was very good.
Jean-Claude Van Damme does play one of the main characters, of course, but more importantly than that, pop sensation and gay icon Kylie Minogue from Australia plays Cammy, and it's
that's cool.
It is so funny to see her. You're like, Kylie, what are you doing here? But
Very
she's
nice.
incredible, and obviously, Gomez Adams is the villain. He's
Raul Julia?
Yes.
Yes.
And he's M. Bison, and he's
Nice. I have seen like clips of him and images of him. He does like fit the role really well.
Around everyone else, and you're like, why are you here?
He wanted to be a Street Fighter.
He was clearly having the time of his life, and it's like, good. I'm happy for you. You do this.
Nice. But yeah, so let's begin, I guess. One of the reasons why I really kind of wanted to get into Mortal Kombat 1 also is because I knew that it had been touted as a reboot to the series, basically. Like it was kind of like they're starting a fresh timeline, and I was like, perfect. Mortal Kombat's 1 through 11 doesn't matter anymore. And I can just, start with a brand new, fresh, clean slate and pick this game up and see what it's about. Obviously, like, the past games are referenced and things about them in the events because it is like still like a resetting of the timelines of that, but the history is still there.
Now, it's a resetting of the timeline, but it features many of the same characters, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll explain that a little bit more in a sec. But the game came out last year in August, and I believe like scored fairly well, was pretty well received and everything like that. But yeah, the main story of it is that Liu Kang, who, again, forgive me if I butcher this a little bit because of my no knowledge of the old lore of Mortal Kombat, is like the keeper of time, I believe. And after the events of the previous game, that there was the hourglass for that timeline shattered. Ooh. And created a chance for Liu Kang to create a new timeline as the keeper of time. And in this, like, he basically resets everything. Shang Tsung is no longer a big bad sorcerer, out there in the world trying to do things. Everything is back to normal. Peace. There's still the other realms out there, like, the Outer Realm, Earth Realm, Nether Realm, which is the developer.
Those things that realms. You know about Mortal Kombat.
I just looked those up before this started just to confirm because, again, I don't know. But anyway, so, all those realms are still in place, and there are still, like, the combat of the things taking place. But it's not because it's, like, times of, like, a extreme war. It's more of just, like, it's a tradition for the realms to interact, and all this stuff. But still,
it's more like the fighting for the glory of it, as opposed to the dire need to
be like, we got to protect ourselves because this shit's about to go south. But still, something goes awry in this, and it's it's the opener of the game, and pretty much. But Shang Tsung still is coerced to be evil, and it seems set on his evil path. And so it kind of like leads Liu Kang to then go off and investigate what's going on, what's causing this disruption in his clean start, fresh timeline. And that's basically the general premise of this game. And along the way he takes familiar faces, Raiden, Kung Lao, Johnny Cage, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion. I just said his name earlier. So those are kind of like the first starters out that you roll with. Again, I don't really know much to compare this game to other than just this game itself. But the story of the game was a ton of fun. Like, it was really well done, I thought, and it was a great way to be like that first stepping into getting the game, getting that exposure to Mortal Kombat, and being able to kind of like get a grip on like the lore of it and also the characters and all their relation to each other. Because in my head, I kind of had an idea of who was like quote unquote good guy, who was quote unquote bad guy, and so it's kind of like getting to see how that's fleshed out and everything, and to understand, these characters' backgrounds and motivations a little bit more, other than they just like to punch each other's faces in.
See, that's always kind of where my mind was at, because the only time I've ever played Mortal Kombat is either that one time with you, where it was probably Mortal Kombat 10, and then when I was like 6, and our neighbors across the street had Mortal Kombat, probably the very first one. And we were like, our parents won't let us get this game because it's rated like M for mature, but we still wanted to play it. So we would lightly play it over at their house. Obviously, I don't remember anything about it other than that experience. So I just like can recognize some of the characters, not even all of them, just a couple of them.
Yeah.
And that's literally where my knowledge starts and ends. Is there's a guy that wears yellow. I believe his name is Scorpion.
That is Scorpion.
There's a guy that wears blue. I believe his name is Sub-Zero.
You are correct in that.
It's very primary colors knowledge based. So that's, are they good or bad?
Good.
Both? Sub-Zero gives off real villain vibes. Are you sure he's good?
Well, I don't want to spoil anything.
Oh,
in the story.
does he turn bad?
Oh, it's a possibility.
I was looking up some of the new character designs because I don't know anything about Mortal Kombat 1 either. And Liu Kang.
Can't get it. Honestly, that's what I was going to say about this game. Let's get real here.
Let's just move on to the meaty
this
stuff.
This game is full of fucking hot people.
That's hilarious.
Liu Kang can get it.
Let's look up Sub-Zero, my personal favorite, because blue's cool.
But you got
Blue's Clues or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, they let him take the hood off and have real hair? That's surprising.
Yeah. But yeah.
And then
Who else you got to find out about?
Scorpion. That's the same guy. That's the same man in a different color.
But yeah, so
Anyways.
it's like, so not only, yes, and the great thing about Mortal Kombat 1 also is you get to bask in the glory of all these hot people in incredible detail, because the graphics of this game are exceptional.
I do remember that from the trailers of being like, holy shirt balls, like that looks insane.
The actual like graphics and everything during the fights, fantastic as well. Like tons of blood is, spewing everywhere. It cuts, the fatalities, brutalities, and all that stuff look fantastic. But just like these standard cutscenes are ridiculously well done. Like facial animations are on point. Like, I meant to look this up earlier, but like Shang Tsung, the whole time he's ever in the game, and he's talking, he's like really kind of like gives us this cocky asshole vibe the whole time, and he's like always like, oh, you thought you could win, Liu Kang, talking like really like cocky like that. It's so good, but just like all of that is like all the emotion of that cockiness, and like the like he kind of like talks out of the side of his mouth, and that's like all kind of like shown, and it's just. I was shocked, honestly. Not that I was expecting like poor quality, but just overall, I was just like, oh, and I am playing this on PS5, by the way. I didn't want people out here thinking I was on the Switch port being like, it looks amazing, because sadly the Switch port did not. But still, on this, I was just like, holy shit, like this game looks good. And that holds up through the whole time. And then there are spectacular performances from everybody involved. Like the voice acting is on point. Like the motion capture was on point. Like it is just like the attention to detail in that is really, really good. And I was not expecting it. Of course, all the different like locales and maps that you fight on, or arenas that you fight in and everything, are also really richly designed and colorful and just really vibrant and stuff like that. Both in like, more bright place, but also more like hellish dungeony places. Like it gives the appropriate creepy vibe and like, to it there, but then also like has just some really spectacular environments, which just look great.
Quick question on the voice acting. Do the characters speak in their native tongues?
No.
Oh, they all speak English?
Yes.
Whoa.
I don't
Tekken would
know
never.
if that. I don't know if that's an option you can turn on, but I'm pretty sure that these are always just all in English.
Interesting. I don't remember how the old games were. I just know, coming from Tekken, it's always so funny because everybody gets to the fight, player versus player, and they've got their like opening jibes, you know, and it's always like Korean versus Japanese. It's like I don't think either of them understood what the other one said. But let's just all suspend disbelief and pretend.
I'm pretty sure that Mortal Kombat has always been in English and stuff like that the whole
has.
time.
I'm just ignorant about it.
NetherRealm Studio, I actually want to say, I'm double checking myself right now, but I'm pretty sure NetherRealm Studios is in Dallas.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Mortal
sure.
Kombat comes from Dallas?
Yeah,
You've ruined the game for me. I'll never play it.
I'm double checking myself right now. Like I don't know. Like
I cannot possibly contribute to the GDP of Dallas.
It's somewhere maybe I could be thinking of ID Software too, but I want to say both of them are there. I can't find it.
What's the studio called?
NetherRealm Studios, if you don't mind giving that a little Google. Because it's been the same creator, the same guy making them ever since the beginning, Ed Boon.
Yeah, which that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But they
always getting to have his influence on the whole thing.
they gotta relocate.
We were anti-Dallas on this show.
In this Austin-based house.
But no, anyway. So yeah, the graphics and acting were great. And like I said, a solid jumping in point to the series.
According to a cursory Google search on Google Maps,
Okay.
it comes up with Chicago.
But that doesn't look... Maybe it is? Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
I
could have been... I must be thinking about IDs and ID Studios, the Doom developers. That
I
must be
do
what I'm
think
thinking of.
they have...
I knew that it was an American-based
one of the
studio.
first photos that comes up for their studio on Google Maps is of like a random kid.
It's the Yelp review picture.
Yeah, it's totally a Yelp review.
No, but that has to be it. I don't know where I thought that,
boy.
but I must have been getting it confused with another developer. But anyway, one of the other things that was great as it being a starting endpoint for this is that it has a super in-depth training mode. Like it literally runs you down the list of jump attacks, like punch attacks, and it's its own separate section that gives you like you get like some coins, like combat coins after completing those and stuff like that as a little reward. But yeah, it goes through like every single like style and move set that you need to do. I did not finish all of them, I will say, because I was a little impatient to get into just the gameplay.
You learned the punches and you said that's enough.
Well, because it was a little bit of that. Like I would play a few, go play some like either the story mode or maybe some online stuff like that. Just like because like it's fun against the AI and stuff like that. But I also kind of want to see how well I can stack up against online people and real, and more of the story mode and things like that. Because also in that. Being able to implement those moves in actual combat scenarios, not just against the training dummy, basically, who's not reacting to you, unless it's like you're learning how to do a defensive move or
like a parry.
A parry, yes, thank you, or something like that. So, but still, the amount that you can go through and like be like, oh, I really need to figure out how to change up my aerial attacks. Cool, I can go do this very in-depth section of like multi-lesson area to figure out how to do these. What's also really nice about the training area is that it has the ability on any of these moves to be able to hit the the big button on the middle of your controller that I'm completely blanking what it's called.
The PlayStation button?
No, not the PlayStation. Like that's like the motion.
Touchpad?
The touchpad. Thank
Oh.
you. If you push
The big
that,
button on the controller.
the biggest one. It's right there. The touchpad button. Thank you. If you push that, it will show you a demo of the move being executed correctly, so that you can see the correct timing. Because especially as you're getting into learning combos of like kicking someone in the air, moving forward, and then kicking them 2 more times or something before they hit the ground, like being able to know the exact like input of boom, 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 cool.
And
like,
that is something that I really struggle with.
Oh,
so that sounds
same.
really helpful.
Like that is my biggest issue with these games right now is that I still am like it's just hard.
It's just the
You just feel
timing.
like you want to be throwing punches.
You know the inputs, but like getting that timing and spacing right is so tough for me.
My biggest thing, one of the hardest things that I have a problem with is when I like do a kick that sends them flying backwards, being able to close that space and then follow up.
It's so tough.
Oh man, that's so hard.
Yeah.
So like getting able to see that, it's boom, bum bum, not bum bum boom. Of putting in the input of the buttons.
The rhythm.
Exactly, the rhythm of it is so helpful and was able to like help me figure out a lot of stuff to like kind of like up my game. I felt a lot. So it's got a fantastic training mode. Excellent to see.
Very good to know.
Outside of the normals of the big story mode and everything, which was not super long.
Wait, tell me more about how story mode works.
Okay.
Do you have to play as Liu Kang, or do you get to like still experience story mode with other characters?
Other characters. As the story progresses, it automatically switches you to another character.
Oh, I see. So
like,
story mode is
each
kind of like
chapter-
a semi-guided experience.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So, which is another reason why I was kind of like, I'm going to play training and do the story mode kind of side by side because I feel like I'm going to get that's going to force me to be better or try out other characters. Whereas if I'm playing online, like honestly trying to like get a good win-loss ratio or something like that, I'm going to use the people who I'm most comfortable with.
Yeah.
So just to kind of get a little bit more, find out, who else I like. Because right now, I think I said in a previous episode that I've been maining Baraka on my online stuff like that. So, it gives you a chance to get to play all these other people. And like I said, it actually starts off, you get to be Raiden and Kung Lao, I think, when the game begins. So, and then it kind of goes from there.
The ugly mofo. Okay,
He's got the Tarkat. He
This
suffers
is
from
ringing a
Tarkat.
bell. Suffers from Tarkat.
It's like an infection that or a disease that like makes them look like that. Like
okay, sure.
and things like that. So it's
Video game
you'll
logic.
figure it out. It's part of the story. But yeah, so you get to progress through the game and play as the different characters. So yeah, you get to kind of try things out. One of the new things that this game, that Mortal Kombat 1 does that I do know is different from previous entries in the series is that it introduces the cameo system. Because, I know a lot of these games, like, yeah, you want your big main fighters and everything in there, but this one doesn't have it does not cover the whole gambit of Mortal Kombat characters. So they have this cameo mode that they have that has some of the characters kind of like acting as reserves to your main character. But the cameos, so like you can choose Sonya Blade, Kano.
Wow, so Sonya isn't an automatic.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a little surprising.
I know. I was even surprised Kano was a cameo because Kano was like a playable character in Mortal Kombat 1.
Sonya's a classic, isn't
and
she? Even I know that.
There's quite a big list of people that you can pick from that too. But the cameos are like act as a support version for you, and this is even in the online mode that you use cameos. And basically, cameos act as like a additional move or move set that you can implement that you can use in the game in a match to be able to disrupt your opponent. Like you can send Kano to do his own attack, like if they're rushing in, rather than using your own. Or like you get knocked and like thrown back to the far end of the other end of the screen. You use your cameo character to like do an attack while you're getting back up on your feet to keep them at bay. Your
Very
opponent at bay.
Tekken Tag.
Oh, it
Tekken
is?
Tag was like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
In my head, I just assumed you were running around chasing each other, trying to like tag your it. But like,
God,
so
I
like,
wish
how,
that were the case. Hang on. You're on something.
Tekken already has the bowling mode. Why is that not it?
And
like,
we're
it's
getting
not,
Tekken Ball mode.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not a far jump that's what I would think. So wait, what does Tekken Tag do then?
Tekken Tag is it's not exactly what you're describing, but for every fight, you choose two characters, and each of them gets their own health bar, and you can use one of the shoulder buttons, I think, to swap them in and out of the fight.
Okay.
So that if you're like getting your ass kicked
tag
with,
in, tag out.
exactly.
I see,
That's
I
what
see.
Tekken Tag is.
I
realize I've never explained it before, so
Well, I was perfectly happy with the headcanon I had.
honestly, your idea is better. So just ignore what I've told you.
But the cameo characters, they don't have health like in Tekken Tag. But they do have like a 2-use charge, and then it's got a refill.
I see.
But not only can they be used in an offensive, defensive way, like by using by using an attack to disrupt your opponent, they are also how you do combo breakers. Like your main character does not perform the combo breaker. If you time the break just right, your cameo character will come like flying in from out of the screen to like hit your opponent and like send them back and break their combo. So kind of a really cool way of doing it too.
Yeah, I like that.
And so, as you go and progress throughout the game and everything through both doing online stuff and leveling up your characters there, or through progressing through the story mode, you will also unlock like customization items for them. So you'll have face masks for Scorpion, different color palettes for their costumes and different stuff like that, and just be able to really, customize and make them look
them
however
your
you
own.
want.
Yeah.
Baraka, his like arm spines that he uses as blades and stuff, you can change how they look and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. And so, yeah, there's a lot of different customization and everything that you can do there. There's also alongside with the story mode, there are the like normal towers that are in Mortal Kombat where it's like you get stacked against like the first tower is only like 6 opponents, then the next one is 8 opponents, then I think there's 10 opponents, and then in this one there are also mode like where you start and you have the same health bar for the whole thing, so you got to try to like beat the whole thing on 1 health.
Got it.
I have not even attempted that because I know I will suck.
Yeah, that sounds like it's a no-go for
no
me.
good for me. I haven't even tried that one. And there's another one too. There's like 5 different towers that you can go and take and run through. After you beat the game, like the main story mission, like I said, I wrapped up today, it then unlocks a whole new mode called Invasions, where it's basically where you will go, and those are kind of like a more they're being set up right as like a seasonal activity because you'll earn different cosmetics throughout the game as you play through these invasions during the different seasons. Right now it's like it's something Cryptomancer, so it's like ice and stuff like that, so it's ice themed and everything like that, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, but with those, it's kind of like its own little story base that like follows up on the ending of the main storyline. So I don't really want to like specify too much about like what the main purpose of it is, but it is just another little like story guided mode where you go through different locations in the game. Like the tutorial takes place in Johnny Cage's mansion.
Awesome.
and you really like move through it almost like a little board game because it's like an isometric top view of your character, and he can have like, you can move forward, go forward, left, forward, left, right, or behind you, and you will run into an encounter where you'll just fight 1 round against an opponent, but it's kind of like randomized what the opponent is and what their abilities are going to be and different stuff like that. So it's kind of an interesting way of going about it. And through there, you can like explore, find chests, which give you like rewards, more customization items, different things like that.
What a bizarre little mode.
I mean, it's kind of cool because it gives it like a fun replayability, and because like the towers, they do have like a quasi story to them depending on like the character you pick, or every character has their like own beginning, and then once you beat the tower, it gives like a unique cutscene for that character to like kind of like be like, now that fight's over, here's what's next kind of thing. And so there's a little bit of the story, but this one is a little bit more of like you're trying to continue like protecting the realms basically. As you just move through all these different locations, fighting all these various enemies and stuff like that. But still, I completed the tutorial, which is basically one of the like worlds of it, and it was a pretty fun little mode. And I was like, oh dang, I completely missed in like the marketing for this game and everything like that was even a thing that was going to be there. So I was kind of like, oh sweet. Nice. I mean, the story itself was fun enough. I would play that again, and because I did play it since I am a Mortal Kombat noob, played it on just the normal difficulty, and I was kind of like, and even like, I will say, even like as it got closer to the late game and stuff, I was still like pretty consistently just winning on first tries. Okay. So I was kind of like, I would like to kick it up a bit, but I did do that and kicked it up on a tower just for fun once to try it on like hard, moved up to hard difficulty. Oh my God.
Did you get your ass handed to you?
So, yeah,
I was just about to say, back in my day, story mode in games was hard.
It definitely like ups the ante a little bit pretty quick, and it's like, okay, so I think now I am ready. Now that I finished the story and stuff like that, I'm ready to start messing around in more of the harder difficulties.
Now, on the harder difficulty, did you notice that the AI was actually behaving smarter?
Yeah, it's actually kind of a thing where like in the towers and stuff like that, I kind of see that each character, when you go into the match, you'll do the first round and say you win the first round. The second round is always harder.
Because
like
they
kind of like picked up what you're doing
you
and stuff. Yes, and like you can't just like hammer the same move over and over and just farm the damage. They're really going to be reactive to that and have a good reaction and put up a good fight for you.
Good.
So it's so good to always, extra little bit of practice, a little like gauntlet run as it were, to be able to run those towers. It also has the online versus mode, which is good. And you can do it in either a ranked mode or just a straight up casual mode. One of the things that I have loved so far, being a fighting game noob, is that you have the ability, or you are able to see when you start the search for an online match, you can see your opponent's win-loss ratio.
Oh,
and
that would be so not good for me.
It's defeating. But here's what's good about that. You see their rank and you see their win-loss ratio. You have the option to accept or decline the fight.
Oh, okay.
Which is So nice.
I feel like that would be even worse for me because then no one would even want to fight me. They'd be like, this loser. Hell no.
And it's definitely like you can see with the opponent's option too. So like if you're sitting there and you're trying to decide and you'll get the notification, oh, they said no.
Oh,
like
okay.
peaced out.
Okay, that's
and
nice.
it finds you a new match. So I like that because yes, I have tried to just be like, no, I'll just play whoever comes up. Stomped. Like you get those people who are like way up there in the ranks and they just stomp.
They've got 5,000 wins, 3 losses.
It just says fight and you go, they just like one simple little punch and then they just like unleash hell on you and merciless combos that you just can't do anything against.
You do neutral one and they just destroy you.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's nice to be able to be like, okay, do I want a challenge here? Sure. I'll take on this person who has 300 wins to 50 losses. Or it's nice too when you're like, oh, this person is my same rank. They have like a close win-loss. This should be a pretty solid, fun match.
It's an even 50-50 split.
Exactly. So it's nice to be able to have that online experience and be able to have a little bit more selection and
things be a little bit more even ground.
Yeah, just so you're not just constantly. And again, like I still like take on the hard opponent every once in a while. Just be like, I just want to see what I can do, and I still get stomped. But I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's go back. Let's run a tower. Let's warm up. Do some other stuff. But it does still feel so good when like you do get that one round where you just annihilate them, which has happened a few times. Or get to pull off a brutality or something like that, or even
so wait, what's the difference? What's the you mentioned that earlier, and I don't know what the difference is. What's the difference between a brutality and a fatality?
A brutality is one that is like, I think it's like a finishing move that's just based off of one of a standard like special move. So like when running a tower or something like that, like and using Baraka, like he has a big like sweeping attack move that starts from the ground, like when he's crouched and like comes up, sends him flying.
Okay.
If you hit that one as like, that's the one that has happened the most when I've been playing. If you hit that move and are able to like get like the opponent's on the ground already, or like they're just standing there and you're able to connect that move as the like last bit of damage to them, it like rips their head off. And it's like
Jesus.
brutality. Whereas the fatalities only happen at the end, at the end of the match too, of the two rounds as well. And at the very end of the match is when the fatalities take place. But that is like a very specific key input that you have to put in.
Okay.
So like Baraka's is, I think, for his is like forward, back, down, square. And it's like you have to input that in the like finish him screen to be able to do anything, able to do it. And then of course it's a very, very gory, graphic, and long cutscene of you just annihilating your opponent.
I've seen a few of the cutscenes, and I'm like, oh my god, it's a little much.
The basic one for Baraka, I think, is that he like stabs both of his like arm spines up through the opponent's like chin here and like pops out their eyes.
Oh god!
And then he like slices down like this, and like their half of their face falls off and stuff. Johnny Cage has one because he's like a cocky like Hollywood action hero. Is kind of like
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
You actually can get a skin to be Jean-Claude Van Damme as playing as Johnny Cage in this one, which is really fun. But like he has one where he like his fatality is he like delivers a gut punch to you, so you fall down, and he puts his arm around you, takes like a selfie, and then stands you up.
The disrespect.
It really is, because he then stands you up, jumps up in the air, and like grabbing you by your shoulders. And you then see down below you is a like Hollywood star Walk of Fame, and he just like slams your face onto it, and you just like implant into it, and then he pulls you up like this, and like your face is gone and just smashed, and then he takes another selfie.
Oh my god. Crimes, criminals, all of them. I think it's obviously this is just cognitive dissonance. I'm not taking this seriously, but I do find it so funny to even have the concept of good and bad guys in a game like that. It's like, I don't think any of these people are good people.
You're just destroying people when you do these fatalities.
Yeah, it seems like the kind of behavior that only a villain would do, frankly.
And two, you can also do a fatal move is what it's called. It's not a fatality, but it's just called a fatal blow, I think, where you and your cameo will do like it's like a mini fatality, but you team up with your cameo to do it, to just do like extra damage within a match. But it has to like, you have to time it just right. It can be blocked super easy if they're, aware that it's coming and stuff like that. So, but it's just another extra like special move that you get to do.
Fun.
Of course, there's also like the standard couch, multiplayer, like two people sitting there, local,
couch co-op,
can play, can do some matches and stuff like that. And it's got some customization and stuff, things like that.
Who was your preferred cameo?
Kano. I just like in the older games, Kano is who I would play whenever I would play like the OG Mortal Kombat 1 and stuff like
How
that
do
a
you
few times.
spell that?
Kano.
K. It's always the K.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 1. Sorry, I know so little about.
That's all right. You got to learn. I was learning too.
This is a Magneto knockoff. I'm just kidding.
He's got like an eye laser and stuff like that, throwing knives and different things like that. So it's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, he's just like, again, yeah, I was just kind of like, I need to mess around with more of the cameos to try stuff out. But the another one who I was surprised was a cameo is Goro, the big four-armed guy.
Big forearm. What
like he has
title.
literal forearms, not like he has big forearms.
Sorry, that is what I thought you meant. I thought you
I
just
kind of like no, he's got like the big guy with four separate arms.
Gotcha. I totally thought that you just meant his forearms are huge. I was like, what an interesting choice.
Yeah, but he's one, and I want to say, unless I'm mistaken, wait, I had the roster pulled up. Here, I'll just read through the roster real quick of the total list of all the characters and everything. Your main fighters are Liu Kang, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Katana, Johnny Cage, Kenshi Takahashi, Kung Lao, Melina, Raiden, Rain, Smoke, which like Rain and Smoke, I have no idea who they were. Li Mei, didn't know who she was either. Baraka, Tanya, Garrus, Reptile, Hawk, Ashra, Sindel, General Shao, Nitara, Shang Tsung, Rico, and then DLC characters Omni-Man from Invincible.
Oh, yeah, you told me that.
Quan Chi.
Nice.
Your cameo fighters are Sub-Zero, Shujinko, so they can be like some of your main fighters also appear in there. Shujinko, Scorpion, Motaro, Kung Lao, Cyrax, who a lot of these guys, I don't know who they are. Frost, Goro, Jax, the guy who has the metal arms, which I was kind of surprised he was a cameo too. Kano, Darius, Serena, Sector, Sonya, Striker, Tremor, and Chameleon.
Interesting.
So, but yeah, so I was kind of surprised. Like, I mean, it's a fun way to still like have them in the game and everything, and be there for the people who are the big fans. But like, I was kind of surprised. Like, it's interesting how like I wonder the what decides it. You know,
I wonder if Sub-Zero and Frost have beef because they are themed after the same element.
there's just ice.
I feel like if I were Sub-Zero and Frost came along, I would be pissed.
And that is definitely something that also takes it into effect when choosing your character, is that they do certain ones will have elemental bonuses like ice, fire, poison, blood. And those can have different benefits or do more damage to characters versus, who have like an opposing element or something like that, like ice like ice and fire.
So it's loosely Pokemon rules?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
There's a little bit of that too. It's just for when you're like, excuse me. Like I know in like the story, you can't really choose who you're playing because it's based on where you are in the story, but still it's being able, just like when you're doing online and stuff like that, if you see somebody who's like facing up and it's like really bad for the character you have, you can be like, ooh, I'll switch to somebody who maybe has a little bit of an edge.
I had no idea about that.
So it's a little stuff like that, little touches in there that, like, again, just didn't really know about. There are going to be other DLC characters coming. I know Omni-Man is the other one, but like I said, Peacekeeper, John Cena's character from Suicide Squad is going to be another one, and Homelander from The Boys.
Yeah.
So that'll be, I'm pretty excited. I want to play as Omni-Man.
Jensen Ackles, represent.
I definitely want to get Homelander as well.
Nice.
And so, anyway, as far as cons,
with a K.
Yep.
Anyways, the kind of top tier, top shelf quality jokes.
I mean, but I had it spelled with a C in my notes. I absolutely should have had it spelled with a K.
You fool.
I know, I totally missed. I fumbled the ball on that one. But as far as cons, I didn't really have any. Like, the game ran incredibly well. Online, you run into every once in a while a bad match where like the server drops and you got to like restart or bow out. But that's probably due to the that happens to every game.
It
and it's probably
in Splatoon constantly.
Yeah, and it's probably due to either one of our connections, mine or the opponent, just making things difficult because you're playing with
their parents turned off the internet because it was dinner time. It happens.
Yeah, it happens. So really though, and I think a lot of that is maybe could be because I just don't have a lot to compare it to. I don't have like, I'm sure there are Mortal Kombat fans who are like, this one sucks in comparison to 11 because of X, Y, and Z.
But people will complain about anything.
Yeah, but I just don't have that. You know what I mean? So like, it's, as far as I was concerned, I think the only way that I was going to come across with like a con would be if I just decided I didn't like fighting games or, but like,
You enjoyed it. It sounds
I enjoyed it a lot.
Very nice.
Like it was a lot of fun getting to play it. A lot of fun getting to learn more about not only the characters, but also just the straight up lore. I know it's kind of, like I said, a little bit of a timeline reset, but still like context clues, you kind of pick up on things that happened in the past and references and different things like that. So I was kind of like, it was a great place to get to jump into that. But like I said, the graphical quality was great. The acting in it was fantastic. And I think the characters that you get and like their design and look and everything, fantastic. The fatalities are, while gory and brutal, are fantastic.
And that's what people go to Mortal Kombat
exactly,
for.
that's
If
what
they
you want Mortal Kombat
They have to be over the top.
Exactly. It's got to be over the top.
Yeah.
And you just get that in spades with this game, but it delivers it in such a fun package. And like I said, I honestly wasn't expecting, or I don't know if I said this, but I wasn't expecting that much from the story mode because I'm like, it's the story mode for a fighting game. Like what is it going to be? But it was still really good, I thought. And like was a good, like I said, journey through the lore and just getting to know all these characters. So honestly, not really or nothing really to say negative about the game. I had a complete blast with it. And so I'm interested to see now how it compares going in from that game to Tekken now.
I think that's going to be so interesting because I don't know enough about Mortal Kombat to know how different the combat is going to feel, but I feel like Tekken is kind of, I mean, all fighting games have their own unique qualities to them, but I've always thought of Tekken as sort of being really unique in its own right. So I don't know. I'm excited. And I know that we were talking before and you were talking about looking at the command list for Jin, and it's like, those lists are long.
Yeah, I saw like a PDF of it this morning and I was like, oh dear God, it's so many moves. But then, I mean, you go and look at the Mortal Kombat one of the character moves for
and
all
it's
those.
Probably just as long.
So long. Which is honestly like, we were kind of talking before we got started about like, how do you learn all of it? Because like, I almost feel like
the command list was like this long and that was all they had back in the Tekken 2 days.
But no, like in this one, it's like there's enhanced versions of some moves. There's like, tons of different combos and everything. They change somewhat, due to all the different characters you're using. And I'm kind of like, I feel like it is nice that it does give you like when you pause the menu and go to your move list, it just shows like your standard special moves for that character. There are always like deeper moves of it or versions of it that you can use in this deep actual like move set list, but then that's easily right there that you can peruse through. And my strategy for right now has just been going through being like, that combo looks interesting, I'll try this one. And just kind of seeing if I can get it, figure it out and get it to actually implement it in the combat. And then it feels really good when it does. And so I forgot where I was going with that too, but I'm just basically just trying to wrap it up and just say that like it was a ton of fun getting to play it. I really do think that if a fan of Mortal Kombat series, I assume you're gonna love it. As a newcomer to the series, I did really love it, and so I excited. It definitely lit more of a fire to like enjoy more fighting games.
I am really excited for you to have at least a point of reference going into Tekken because now I feel like you'll have more opinions about it.
Yeah. And just, although it's going to suck just trying to, if they're like, I don't think the control schemes are vastly different, but like if they are, I'm going to be trying to like, oh no.
I mean,
like
every time I've tried to go and play freaking Street Fighter because of the quarter circles and whatever, I'm like, no, I can't play this game.
And do you play? This is a question I guess I should have asked at the beginning, but when you play a fighting game like that, do you use the sticks or do you use the D-pad? It's so much easier.
D-pad. Yeah, it's so much easier with the D-pad.
It's so much easier. I really thought that like the control stick would be the way to go, but no, it just feels too loose.
Even though it do hurt your fingies more.
I'm just building up those calluses. I'm ready to go,
Well, I've got good ones from Theater Rhythm, so not quite the same, but you get the idea.
Yeah. But anyway, go play Mortal Kombat 1. It was a ton of fun. But then also, stay tuned for us to hear about Tekken 8.
Yeah, don't get too invested.
No, don't get too invested because it's Tekken 8.
You've got one day as of this episode's air date.
If you want to play it before Tekken, go do it now or you're going to run out of time.
Yeah.
But yes, it was a very good game. I highly recommend giving it a shot. And if you do pick it up, obviously let us know your thoughts, but also hit me up. Send me a challenge.
Battle Jerrett.
Let's try it out. Let's see what we can do. I know that there's going to be like, we have different servers. We need to get us a channel set up in the Discord for Tekken because we're basically setting up a team chat fight club. A lot of people in the Discord are going to be getting Tekken.
It's going to be fun.
So we're going to have a lot of competitions and championships and tournaments and whatnot coming up in our future. So stay tuned for all of that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Next week.
Oh, yes.
Want to just tell the people?
Being that it didn't like just quite work out with the release and everything for this one, for it to be like, to work out. So next week is going to be our team chat streams, which we're obviously going to be playing Tekken 8. So should be the first, what is the date on that? The first Thursday? The first Thursday in February?
Yeah, I think it's February 1st.
Is it the 1st?
Pretty sure.
Just double check. Oh yeah, you can get that a little bit quicker. Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
it is the
Okay,
1st.
so February 1st, we'll be doing our first Team Chat plays of Tekken 8, and I'm sure like we'll get some rounds in, but yeah, we'll do some tournaments with some people.
And I might not actually have the game myself by then. It just kind of depends on some other factors. So I might be absolute trash.
All right, everybody. But yeah, before we go, we do have to do this week's soundtrack spotlight, which is a clue provided to us by Brandon.
I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
I'm excited.
The hint is Norman Reedus. Sorry, let me try it again. The hint is Norman Reedus and the Radar Fetus.
Oh, nice.
Norman Reedus and the Radar Fetus. So let's let's take a quick listen to this week's song.
I'll stay with you by your side. Close your tired eyes. I'll wait, and soon I'll see your smile in a dream, and
It's a melancholy, a little slow track. I like it though.
Little
It's
slow
a
jam.
little haunting. I like it.
Yeah, haunting.
I
Good
like
way
it.
to
It's a
describe
good
it.
one. But the hint, one more time, is Norman Reedus and the Radar Fetus. So send us your guesses. Again, how this works is first person to correctly guess the game that it was that this music is from, and comments in either our YouTube, Discord, wherever you're
anywhere.
anywhere you
Facebook
can get hold of
Messenger,
us.
we actually check that.
Yeah, so first person to correctly guess the game will get to submit a hint for a future week's soundtrack spotlight. So good luck to all of you. And with that, everybody, though, that concludes this episode of Team Chat Podcast. Until next time, I'm one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
Adios. See you in Tekken 8.
Woo! Let's get it.